to Tokyo PM channel. My name is Jason, and I have decided to start this YouTube channel because I want to take the opportunity and share a little bit of what I've learned and my experience in becoming a product manager here in Tokyo. So a little bit more about me. I am half Dutch, half Japanese, and I grew up in Hong Kong. I went to university in Kyoto, actually studying humanities for liberal arts. And after that, I came to Tokyo in the hopes of finding a job because in Tokyo, I felt like that's where it would be best to go when looking for a job for someone who can't read Japanese. I can speak Japanese conversationally, but I definitely can't read. And that's something that I'm working on at the moment. Now, these are all points that I kind of want to go into the future. For example, how my anthropology background has helped me in product management, maybe how finding a job for a university student can be difficult, especially for someone who doesn't know what the shukatsu system is and how to engage with that when you're in university, and then to come and try find a job here in Tokyo. And also, if Japanese is required. Generally, it is, and that's an unfortunate truth that if you're going to succeed in Japan, you need to know the language that most of the people here speak, but it's not impossible, but that will come in a future video. Now, why am I starting a YouTube channel? I have had the great opportunity to run a product tank events in the last couple months, especially after the pandemic, looking at where I wanted to try to contribute, and I wanted the opportunity to meet people. And I had the opportunity to meet Tenmei, who up until this month was running a product tank. I was sitting at the bar, and then a group of people came in. So I was like, "Oh, hey, what do you guys do? You guys look like you're having a good time." And one of them said, "Oh, we're all product managers, and we just had a product management meetup, the first since the pandemic kind of shut down the group back in 2020." And so I said, "Oh, that's really exciting. Can I join you?" So I got to know Tenmei, really, really great guy, someone who's equally, or if not more, passionate than I am on what Product Tank has been and what Product Tank has the potential to be, bringing the community of product managers and also those interested in what product is in Tokyo. Now, what is product management? That's a discussion that I'm going to go into in a little bit more depth in a video probably coming tomorrow, the day after. But product management at its very foundation is us being kind of, in terms of a mental image, imagine an octopus and you're in the middle. Personally, I'm also a scuba diving instructor, so I'm fascinated by marine life. And I don't know if you know, but octopuses don't actually have a central brain, but instead each leg has a collection of neurons similar to what would be in a brain. But because it's not collected, each arm has its own mind, let's say. And one arm of the octopus can actually communicate with another arm of the octopus without it ever going through some sort of central processing core. And so the way that I picture product management is that we kind of are the middle of the octopus, and you've got sales, the marketing team, you've got, financial operations team, you've got customer service team, you've got the engineers, you've got the executives that you need to work with. And so you kind of sit in the middle of a company, and this is what's called a sort of product-led organization. When you're in a product-led organization, that's rather new, or it's an approach where you're saying a product-led company is a company that goes, look, this is our product. How do we make that best for the customer? And so then they entrust a product manager who's in charge of the product to be that point of connection and represent the customer. Then what happens is that product manager is coordinating with all these other, components of the company. But each component operates independently, like the legs of an octopus. They can make their own decisions. And of course, they have their own objectives in terms of how they hope the company to grow. So sales needs to get sales, marketing create marketing campaigns. And it all revolves around what is the customer? What does the customer need? What is their pain point? And how can we make something for that customer? And that's where product kind of plays a pivotal role. So product management is something that I found myself fall into when moving here to Tokyo. Initially, I didn't know what job I would get. I was like many international university students who kind of was not lost, but didn't know what the next step would be, didn't know what job they would get. And I had the opportunity to work at Rakuten, which is a really big, I guess, competitor to Amazon, but they also do 40 different things. They do golf, they do travel agency, they do like investments, it's a big conglomerate, which is kind of common here in Japan. And so I had the opportunity to work with them on their new mobile telecommunications department. And that opportunity was really good for me because I appreciated that Rakuten has the bandwidth to keep taking in new students every year. And the thing with new grads in Japan is generally they don't hire for a role. They hire you as sort of blank slates and then assign you to a role in the company. So that gave me the opportunity to sort of leapfrog into product management where there would have been no clear career path getting to that otherwise. Now, product management is something that you can either find yourself, fall into the way that I did, or people aspire to get to that role, similar to a software engineer who might become a product manager, a business analyst who might become a product manager, because they want to move in terms of the octopus rather than a leg. They want to kind of move more to the not brain, but like the core of the octopus. So I found myself in product management, and this was now 3 years ago. And from there, I had the opportunity to be a new grad in the company, to learn how the company works. And from there, the range of responsibilities change. So generally, when you start as a product manager, you look at execution. So you want to focus on trying to get small features out, and you would have someone tell you what those features are, because your main job is how well do I work with the engineers and how well do I work with sort of execution release team, so that if I have a feature, I can say, hey, let's make this. This is how long it'll take. Let's get this out and let's see what the users think. And so what entry level product managers do is primarily focus on execution. They're not thinking grand strategy. They're not thinking like what is the core user sentiment yet. They are focusing on execution. Now, this is particularly applicable for a big company. If you're at a startup and you're a product manager, that's different because you need to take on a lot more responsibility. But if you're in a big company, then generally, if you join as an associate product manager or entry level product manager, your main core focus is execution. So I'm at the stage now where I was starting with execution, and then from there I had the opportunity to lead my own team. So in this team, I had myself and two product managers with me. And so we would all work together on how do we execute? What do we need to understand from the user? How do we get the best version of our product out to the customer? Now, I have since left back in November 2022 and switched to Mercari. And at Mercari, I became a product manager specifically for trust and safety. Now, one thing that's interesting with product managers is it's a field that's very broad. So you can be a product manager in machine learning, you can be a product manager in advertisements, you could be a product manager in growth. And what this means is that you have got the basics down. You can execute well, you can work with stakeholders, but you then tend to specialize. And the day-to-day of a product manager who's in trust and safety is very different to the day-to-day of a product manager who's in advertisements, for example. And this is kind of something that we're also going to explore on the channel, where we are going to have the opportunity to interview PMs from different roles and try highlight what it is that makes their experience unique to the role, and what do they then get out of that. So I joined Medicudi for being a PM of trust and safety. And the thing that I learned there was it's it's really important to take the time to learn. Medicudi has been great, and I'm currently working there now. And they really invest in their employees, and they really want to make sure that we have the tools that we need to learn. My managers are incredible, and they have taken the time to teach me about the foundations of machine learning and about how the team works and how to execute. And they have very skilled engineers to work with. So it makes someone who doesn't have the most experience in a specific field have a very easy time joining. I will say, I've been running Product Tank on a monthly basis now for almost a year. Currently, I'm on break. I'm on paternity leave, but I've been running it for almost a year, and it's been such an incredible opportunity for me to meet people here in Tokyo who want to engage with what product management is. We're quite a niche, I will admit, in the tech community as a whole. And so we don't compete with startup groups or like big Tokyo tech meetups, because that's kind of not our objective. But instead, we want to revolve around what is the role of product management, what's the day to day of product management, and how do we really cater to that smaller community. And it's been an incredible journey so far. We've had people join us who they just want to know a little bit more. They maybe want to get into it. I also completed a Lobogon bootcamp, which is a phenomenal bootcamp if you want to learn how to code. It's a great place to start. And so I had the opportunity to complete that bootcamp. And then, I realized personally coding is not for me. I'm not good at it. But I got the chance to talk to the Lobogon cohorts here at Tokyo and tell them what is product management. And I realized for me, I didn't know that it was a role that I would be good at and that existed until I had the opportunity to work in Rakuten. So it was a really great honor for me to be able to share that with the Lobogon team. I've also hosted 2 keynotes so far. One keynote was done, one was done in a panel discussion style, where we kind of talked about what it takes to become a PM. And I also had the opportunity to host a keynote with the head of product, Walt, the head of product for Alexa Japan, and also the CPO of Mercari. And one thing that we're also going to be doing on this channel is continuing to try and engage with these industry leaders and thought leaders in the Tokyo PM community, because I think that there's a lot of potential. This is my first time really doing things like this. I'm not someone who shares very easily. I'm not someone who is good at showing the messiness of thinking and the messiness of work. But from the product tanks that I've been to and having the opportunity to talk with everyone on one-on-one, I realized maybe there's a value in me kind of sharing my story and moving forward from here to see what can people learn and what can I learn also as well. One of the main reasons I really like hosting these panel discussions and keynotes is not only does the audience get to learn, but I get to engage with heads of product who then teach me very insightful things. So it's kind of a win-win-win. I like to think for myself, for the audience, and for the speakers. And so that's something that we're going to continue developing in the year. But the reason that I'm starting a YouTube channel specifically is I want the opportunity to show my work. I want the opportunity to show what it is that I do. How do I do it? What am I learning? And kind of take you along on this journey with me. And I'm very happy to engage. I'm very happy to have a chat. If you want to become a product manager, if you want to know what it is, or if you want to teach me, because I've got a lot to learn and I will always have a lot to learn. But I hope those who are, attending our monthly Product Tank events are excited to continue joining us. And I'm on paternity leave until the end of June because I have a lovely little daughter. So I will not be active until end of June, but I look forward to ramping things up again in the summer. Now, we have a couple of videos that we're planning. One is with Ken, and Ken is an incredible guy who runs the CPO conference here in Tokyo. So it's a really big event, primarily done in Japanese, where he has experience as a product manager in the US. And since coming to Japan, he felt like, there's not that much product management here, or in terms of product management that we're doing, we're kind of a decade behind. And so I'm going to have an interview with him soon and kind of take apart how his experience has shaped product management and what led him to then start the CPO organization. Another video that we're going to have coming up soon is with Todd, who, if any of you have joined our first panel discussion, will remember. A really, really cool guy. He was also studying anthropology, or he is an anthropologist who then shifted into product. And so I relate to him in that aspect. And I'm looking forward to learning how he navigated his way into product from a humanities background, which I think will be insightful for those who are a little bit concerned, can I get into tech when I'm not as so techie? Now, we also have a couple videos coming up, but I will take it one day at a time and leave it at that. So thank you if you watched all the way to the end of the video. This is going to be a new project that we're taking on. And many of you have, emailed us and said, I'd be open to interview. I'd be open to having a chat. So I haven't had the opportunity to reply to all of those emails. I will. I'm looking forward to it. I really want to connect with you one-on-one. And thank you for joining us.